You're listening to the home of cool, irreverent, and entertaining talk, right here on LA Talk Radio. You're listening to The Art of Love with your host, Lucia, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to The Art of Love. My name is Lucia. I'm your host and a dating and relationship expert, and I'm here to entertain, educate, and enlighten you about love, dating, and relationships. Take your live calls, answer emails, solve your dating dilemmas, and speak to authors of books which I find interesting. And today we are going to talk about a great social networking site which I love, and that would be Facebook. I have both a personal page and a fan page on there, and of course you can find the link to that on my LA Talk Radio page, and I'd love for you to become a fan and see what's up with me. I post on there daily, usually, unless I'm really busy. And so I have the author of a book called The Facebook Datebook for Men. Now, obviously, this is going to help men meet women, because women don't need help meeting men, right? No, but there will be tips for women, too. So if you're a woman, don't leave, because this should be interesting. We're going to find out all about Facebook. And here he is, Mr. Flyness. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Wonderful. You know, I didn't write down a bio for you. So I've actually had you on the show before last year when you were talking about MySpace and how to meet women on MySpace. So you write books about meeting women online, apparently.
Yes.
Do you want to give a little bio about yourself?
Sure. Well, again, of course, as everybody knows by now, my name is Flyness, a.k.a. Your Royal Flyness. I previously wrote two books, actually, called From MySpace to My Place. One is The Men's Guide to Snagging Women Online. The second is The Ladies' Guide to Finding Mr. Right or Mr. Right Now online. So this is actually the third book. It's now a trilogy, and this is the Facebook Datebook for Men. Wow,
a trilogy, kind of like Tolkien?
Yes.
Wow. We're a prolific writer here. Okay, good. So we're going to find out how to meet people on Facebook, because I love Facebook, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Facebook is great.
Exactly. So, but you say that it's more of a challenge to meet people on Facebook as opposed to MySpace. Why is that?
Well, yeah, Facebook is very unique. Whereas with MySpace, it's almost like, if you want to compare it in real-world terms, so to speak, MySpace is like going to the club. You go to the club, you really don't know anybody there, you kind of schmooze and kind of, get to know people. And it's not, no one's going to really look at you funny if you walk up to a stranger and kind of, if you're real cool about it, you can get to know someone. Facebook is a little bit different. Facebook is more like a family reunion. Hopefully there's no incest going on out there. I don't want to, spread that message. But, Facebook is really a true networking site in that people really usually already know each other on some level. So the challenge is unique. If you don't really know how to do it the right way, people are either going to be very weirded out by your approach, or you're just not going to get your message across. So that's why this book is really necessary to show guys, how to correctly, get to meet women on Facebook.
Okay, so can you please explain what is this poking?
What is the toking?
No, well, poking. Poking, not toking. There's no toking.
What's the word?
The poke.
Oh, the poking.
Yeah, what do you think I was talking about?
Well, yeah, it's okay, misunderstood you. Yeah, well, if you look at the cover of the book, for those of you out there, if you want to see the cover, go to facebookdatebook.com. But the cover of the book actually has a finger. It's actually a the Facebook poke, and it's coming out and poking a lovely young lady who looks pretty flattered by the poke. The whole idea of the poke, it was actually invented by Facebook, and it's just simply a way for you to, get someone's attention online. So a lot of people, assume that it's a friendly gesture. Others, like myself, especially when I was brand new to Facebook, I would just poke all the cute girls on my friends list. So that's what the poke is, and I have some very specific instructions on how to utilize the poke if you are trying to, get the attention of a young woman on Facebook.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that later. So let's start from the beginning. So you say in establishing your identity to pick a creative nickname. I didn't even know you could use a nickname.
You can. But as I do warn in the book, you do have to be careful. I gave some very specific guidelines because with Facebook, I would say there's a lot of Facebook police out there. There's a lot of policing on Facebook.
Wow.
So you have to be pretty careful. They really want you to use your real government name. However, if you can maybe change your middle name to a nickname, then that's a great way to kind of, establish yourself without, really breaking the rules. You kind of bend the rules a little bit.
Ah, okay. So you would put your first name, then Flyness, and then your last name.
Maybe. I'm a little bit different. I'm a little advanced with my game. If they want, to get some advanced tips, they can go ahead and write me. But yeah, if you start out, you do want to add a little bit of intrigue. Maybe they could swap out their middle name. Maybe they can throw up a couple of initials. Maybe they want to just replace their last name or, something like that.
Okay. So then you talk about attention-getting status messages. So what would that look like?
Yes. That could be anything.
And you can't think of one now, of course.
I've seen all kinds of things. I mean, you could even just put something stupid or funny, or you could just say I just walked into a bar and knocked myself out. It's just a stupid joke. Really, the whole idea behind the whole status message thing is just to make you seem more interesting, more creative. So if you have some woman on your friends list that you haven't quite gotten at yet, or if your profile is wide open for the world to see, it may be worth it just to try a few attention-getting status messages.
Okay, and then you talk about appearing with cute women. So what's all that about?
Oh yeah, well I advocate that across the board. Same thing with the MySpace to my Facebook. The fact of the matter is, and to all the fellas out there listening, look, you're online, you're browsing. These ladies are online too, as Lucia knows. Especially all the cute women, they get bombarded with notes all day.
Oh, all day.
So what are these women doing? They get your note, right?
I delete.
Oh, well, yeah, you delete, but trust me, if it was me, you wouldn't be deleting. You'd be adding. And you'd be poking.
Woo! You wish.
So, but, the guys out there, they already know. They send out a bunch of messages, they may only get a couple back. Well, what ups your percentage of getting a reply back? One of the main things I talk about in the Facebook Datebook, I talk about your profile first. So with a guy's profile, he should always keep in mind to have just a few photos with some really attractive women. Hopefully who look also happy in the picture, because it makes you look more of like a sex symbol in a way, gives you a little bit of status, and of course other women are going to look at that and say, he must be doing something. He has all these fly, attractive women in his profile, they might be a little bit intrigued. So I always advocate that.
Yes, good idea. But I like the way you specify cute women.
Oh, of course.
And then you say to shut up. So what does that mean?
Shut up, that basically means, guys have a tendency to run on a lot in their profile. Just keep it brief. We don't need to know, what the name of your kindergarten teacher was. We don't need to know, what your sixth grade graduation was like. Just keep it brief. Keep it mysterious. Just put enough there to be alluring, but nothing more.
Right, because we don't have time to read all that anyways, most of the time.
Of course.
Exactly. And, okay, and then for the relationship status, I thought it was interesting that you said not to put that you're looking for dating.
No, you don't want to do that. And for a man, that's suicide. Because it all gives the impression of being a little bit too desperate. You know, if you're saying, well, I'm looking. I mean, you know, it kind of puts you in a subservient position as the man, for fear of sounding chauvinistic, but, as the man, you want to put forth the impression that she has something to gain by, talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I get to later on in the book, you're going to be messaging her. So when you message her, she'll immediately know, okay, this guy's interested. So therefore, you want to, in your profile details, you want to just kind of leave that out. Just kind of omit that. Don't put like you're looking for dating, because then it's like, all right, this guy's online, he's searching. You don't want to make it look like you're searching. You want to make it look like, you're just there, and she's in your world, not the other way around.
But don't you think someone might think, oh, well, since he didn't put he's looking for dating or a relationship, then maybe he's already in a relationship?
They could assume that, and that is the beauty of it. If a woman assumes that, then I don't think that's a bad thing.
Uh-huh, and why is that?
I don't think that's a bad... Well, see, the thing is, let's be honest. When a guy is in a relationship, and I'm sure you can attest, I hope you can attest, when a guy's in a relationship,
uh-huh.
He usually has no problem getting into another one. It's almost like, it's easier to get money when you have it. Many times it's supply and demand. When the supply goes down, the demand goes up. So, I personally found myself in many situations where I'll be single, and it's like, all right, where are the ladies? But as soon as I get into one relationship, then my phone never stops ringing. So I think that's the same thing. The more you kind of, keep things on a mysterious level, you don't want to lie and just say, I'm in a relationship when you're not.
Uh-huh.
Even though a guy can, I'm not advocating that. But, when you make it seem like you're busy and you're occupied and a little bit more mysterious, then you'll tend to find that the demand does go up.
Now, here's a question somebody actually sent me a few weeks ago, and I was actually thinking the same thing. I want to get your opinion since you're the networking expert. Don't you find it interesting that more often than not on Facebook and MySpace, etc., it seems like all the very attractive people, they always put that they're single, but that in the background they've got to have someone for something, but yet everyone seems to be single.
Now, was that talking about men more than women?
Both.
Or women more than men?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. I mean, every time I go to someone's profile, just go to Facebook now, click on someone hot, and the 9 times out of 10, they're going to be single. You're like, what the heck's going on here?
Right. The thing is, in terms of that whole category, I never even look at it. I tell all my male friends, all my peers, that, whenever you see a woman, especially if she is, between 18 and 25, always assume that she's not in a relationship, that she's in a situation. And no matter what age she is, as a matter of fact, if she's attractive, just assume that she's in some sort of situation, if not in a relationship, because chances are she is. So there's no reason to even pay that status thing any mind, because regardless of the case, you're going to be, quote-unquote, macking to her anyway.
Yeah, there's always someone lurking in the background.
Of course.
So then how can someone separate themselves from the pack, even if they are hot?
Okay, well, man, there's so many ways. Well, of course, as we already spoke about, make sure you have some pictures with some very cute, attractive young ladies, In addition, you want to make sure that your clothing is up to par. There's so many ways. Make it look like you're a fun and exciting person. You want to keep things brief. When you message her, first of all, you don't ever want to start off just poking or just sending a friend request, because, it's kind of beating around the bush, and no one wants to do that anyway. If you want to meet her, you want to take active steps to meeting her. Adding her and poking her are too indirect. I would recommend that more for women than for men. As a man, you want to get at her directly. So those are some of the few ways that you can really establish yourself.
So you're saying to send a message before you make a friend request?
Yes. Or do both at the same time. Of course, with Facebook, you can do a friend request and attach a message to it.
Right.
But I really advocate for guys. It's 2009. Women, of course, as you know, Lucia, women are getting money. Women are doing their own thing. They, the lines are really becoming blurred in terms of, the power structure in this country. So I really advocate for men to just maintain their role as men in the relationship genre, in the relationship alley, and just really, really put forth a powerful position, a position of leadership and a position of just, I'm trying to look for the word, but just to be that secure, dominant factor in the relationship.
I agree. We want men who are men, damn it.
Exactly, a real man.
That's right. They're hard to find these days.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And also in terms of the photos, you mentioned about not putting a shirtless photo, and I totally agree, because if I see someone with a shirtless photo, I'm not interested. If I'm looking for a relationship, if I'm looking for a booty call, fine, then I need to see what you look like without the shirt. But if I'm not looking for that, then it turns me off.
Yeah, well, what guys need to realize is that, men are very visual creatures, but we need to realize that women, while visual, women are very complex. Sometimes mystery, just the imagination means a little bit more. So I think guys really want to be careful when taking photos. They don't want to necessarily expose everything right away, because it takes away all the sexiness and intrigue out of it. Men forget how often women get messages online. Women get bombarded with messages. If you think she's attractive, trust me, there's probably 50 other men who thought that and already sent her a message. So what's going to separate you from them? You can't just put it all out there on the line. You got to act like, again, that you have some sort of status and that she has to get up to your level, not the other way around.
Yeah, I think most women would prefer a guy who has GQ kind of pictures, dressed very well and looking put together.
Yes.
And
yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and you said we sometimes love mystery. We always love mystery. And right, so just because the guys are turned on by photos of a woman in bikini, it's not the opposite way around. We don't care about a guy with his shirt off. We're more turned on by the oral, meaning the AURAL.
Right.
What you say to us and write to us. So, which brings us to the next topic about the first message, and I totally agree with you about not giving her compliments.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And not only, you can make a strategic compliment, but what I really advocate against is complimenting her on her physical attributes. Mm-hmm. Especially her sexual organs, her PP-13 and rated R organs. No comments about how nice her butt looks, how great her breasts look, her hips. Mm-hmm. You got to leave all of that out of there. Because again, you just sound like a monger. You sound like a customer at a strip club. And unless she's a stripper, she may not receive that comment too well.
Yeah. And even if she is a stripper, she's still a woman first.
Exactly, that's true.
Right? So she wants to, it doesn't matter what you do for a living, you still want to be treated like a lady. It's true.
Well, I might disagree with that a little bit. However, at the same time, even if she is a stripper, you want to act like that stuff doesn't even faze you. So in terms of just getting at women altogether, your first message, you want to, look past that completely. As hard as it is, it's there, especially if she's in a thong. It's there, she knows it's there, but just don't acknowledge it, because then she'll wonder, does he find me attractive? If you make her wonder off of that first note, if you capture her intrigue, the game's already over. She might as well already be at your place.
But don't you find also different from MySpace is that luckily it seems to be more PG on Facebook. Do you see less women having their default picture of them in a bikini?
Well, it depends. If you go down into her photo albums, you'll find some very, very shocking things. I've seen some very, very risque things on Facebook.
Yeah, but I'm saying as the default picture, that seems to be more PG on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I definitely agree, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Because again, Facebook. A lot of people, put their coworkers on their Facebook pages. You really didn't see that on MySpace. So yeah, especially for a default picture, people tend to put forth their most professional page forward. And fellas, don't be fooled. A lot of these women, the most professional, school teachers and lawyers, you'd be surprised because a lot of them have to offset that with a little freak, So, I talk about that in the book as well, how to spot the freaks and, the undercover freaks.
Yeah, we're going to get to that right now, actually, because you have the 3 categories, the nope, the slope, and the poke. I love how you come up with these names. So obviously the nope category is the women to avoid at all costs. So let's just talk about a few of these. Who are the crazy women?
Oh, man. Well, the crazy women, I've dealt with a lot of crazy women. I talk about this in the book as well. The crazy women are basically, and we've known crazy women in real life. And obviously if they're crazy women in real life, there's a lot of crazies online. Mm-hmm. Probably more online because many of them stay out of the public spotlight and they just stay at home in front of their computers. So, fellas overall, how to spot them, it could be anything from a bunch of, cartoon, pictures of them or pictures of cartoon characters as their photo. A lot of them will have like Tweety Bird or SpongeBob as their main picture. I immediately say, stay clear because that's either a crazy woman or an underage woman. Either way, you want to stay away from them.
Right.
If she seems to be overly obsessed with something. I knew one girl, she had, I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but it was a particular type of clothing. It was all over her page.
Hello Kitty?
And she just think, what was that?
Hello Kitty?
It might have been Hello Kitty. It was one of these little, one of these clothing lines, one of these really corny looking, it looked like Japanimation almost. Mm-hmm. It was all over her page. And like when you see stuff like that, if it seems a little odd for a reason, it probably is. You should probably just continue to move on because trust me, I've been in some situations with some crazy young women and it's nothing that I would wish on my worst enemy. So crazy woman, anything that just doesn't make sense, just stay away.
Okay, and then also to be aware of is the con artists.
Yes. With MySpace and definitely Facebook now, you have a lot of people that you've never heard of before. For the most part, the con artists on Facebook that I've seen, they tend to come in the form of friend requests that come from women who reside in other countries. So they're pretty easy to spot right now on Facebook. However, this could change in a matter of weeks. I know with MySpace, I really don't see it anymore, but, a year or two back, I used to get a lot of messages from women, and, it would say, hey, my profile here doesn't work, but click here to go see my other pictures, and I would go to this other website, and all of a sudden I'd get all these pop-ups, and it'd be crazy. And this, it's not Facebook alone, it's all over the place. So con artists, anybody asking you for money up front, anybody saying, I'm in a rough situation, I'm in a bind, can you help me out? Just completely ignore that because a lot of guys get suckered in.
Right. Okay, so let's move on to the slope women. These are the ones you say to exercise extreme caution. So you say young women, 18 to 21.
Yes. Got to be careful. Because a lot of, people don't talk about this. People say, guys are players. Guys are this, guys are that. People don't really talk about the women who are the quote-unquote playettes. And a lot of them reside in the 18 to 21-year-old region because, think about it, when a woman reaches the age of 18, she's legal. She has breasts and ass and, everything else that she could possibly want. She's also at the age where she can start to go clubbing. She's getting noticed for the first time and is able to act upon, a lot of the attention that she gets from guys. So a lot of these women are what I refer to as attention mongers or attention whores. Mm-hmm. They get appreciated for their physical attributes. So in terms of, settling down with this type of woman, you want to be really careful. If you're just looking to get your freak on and, hang out with the female for, a couple of days or so, then that's one thing. But in terms of embarking on a long-term relationship with a woman between the age of 18 and 21, you kind of want to tread lightly.
Right, yeah, definitely. They're not set up for dating at that age. But then you also mentioned older women, which is 30 and above. And, of course, as an older woman, I have to say, what? So why is that?
Well, it depends. Because, again, this is in the slope category, so it all depends on what you're looking for, on one hand, personally, I found that, older women, of course, are more mature. They tend to have less hang-ups about their looks. If there were any insecurities that she had when she was younger, usually by the time she's in her mid-30s, she's getting over that. I think overall, older women are actually quite cool to get with. So, some can look at it both ways. But at the same time, some are already laden with baggage. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure, Lucia, you have some fans who are, who have a whole lot of baggage. They might have kids, or it could just be emotional baggage that has built up over the years. Maybe they've had a lot of men who've done them dirty. Mm-hmm. So that tends to be my issue with older women. No one's immune. Everybody gets criticism from finest, so it's not just the older women, but, there's good and bad.
But I love how you put the older women at 30 and above. I mean, come on. 30, okay, maybe 20 years ago, 30 was like, oh, my God, that's so old. But now 30 is like nothing. I heard this crazy conversation at the gym the other day. And this guy in his 20s was saying to this beautiful Russian girl, this ballet dancer, and he's like, how old are you? And she said, well, I'll be 30 in a couple of weeks. He's like, 30? That's old. You might as well be 60. And I was like, damn. Someone's got issues. But unfortunately, some guys think like that,
Well, yeah, I could kind of understand that only because, a lot of women, once they hit 30, it's like they're cramming for the test. It's like a lot of them are trying to, once a woman hits 30 psychologically, she might be thinking, okay, why am I not married if she's not married by that point? A lot of them may be thinking about their biological clock. I've dealt with women personally. They're like, I'm 30, I don't really know what I want. So I think we should date for a little while and then look at, getting together, getting married. I'm like, wait a minute, is this a contract or, what's going on? So I get that a lot, and I actually got that fairly recently. So, you kind of want to be a little careful.
It depends on the woman. Let's leave it at that. How's that?
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so then you also have, of course, the sexual freaks in this category. Oh yeah.
And the first thing I remember writing was, I know a lot of guys probably think that that's a typo. Like, why is that in the in the slope category? Why isn't that in the go for it category? Yeah. And just like with anything else, you want to be careful because while a freak might be, really nice for a one night stand, she could spell disaster, if you get that woman pregnant, you got to be careful for STDs, of course. I always, advocate for condoms and, for safer sex and such. But, you want to be careful because a lot of freaks, they're freaks for a reason. So, I had one girl, I don't know how much I could say on your show, so I'm going to keep it PG.
Okay, good, thank you.
But I had one girl, she rocked my world. Let's just say she rocked my world, okay. All right? She did it so well that yes. I actually never called her again.
What? Is that why no one ever calls me again?
Honest. I never called her again. Now, I sent her another MySpace message like, how you doing? But I couldn't bring myself up to it because I knew in order for her to be that good, she had to have, I don't know.
Practiced?
She must have gone through training camp.
That booty camp.
Yeah, it was out of this world. It was crazy. So
hold it. I need to know what was okay.
She's like that for a reason. So just be careful. It's okay to mess with a freak, but just kind of try to look between the lines because a lot of freaks tend to be crazy as well.
Okay, but what was so good about it? Just briefly. Just so I know.
She knew exactly what to do at the right time with the right amount of pressure. It was unbelievable. It was, man, I'm at a loss for words. I kind of, man.
Are we talking about oral?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was unbelievable.
Okay. All right. Understood. All right. So then we move on to the scantily clad women.
Yeah. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
To a point. A lot of scantily clad women are freaks. Others are just attention freaks. They may not be real freaks, but they just might love the attention that comes with, showing off their bodies. So, a lot of guys, obviously flock to women who don't have any clothes on, or they stare, and, these are the women that guys tend to have fantasies about because, of course, men are visual creatures, and if we see something appealing visually, then of course we'll be tempted. But guys need to realize that a lot of women out there are out there just for the attention. So I really, tell guys to really be careful. Unless you're kind of advanced at your game and you can kind of keep your loins under control, you kind of want to just really look at the why behind why she dresses the way she does.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I'm surprised that you had celebrities under the slope category.
Yes. Yep, because we have to be realistic. Not all celebrities are going to be, going to love the fact that you contact them. In fact, of course, a whole lot of celebrities have, PR people, on their Facebooks and MySpace pages. They have people answering their messages for them. Unless your game is real crispy, so to speak, or real tight or real good, you probably don't stand much of a chance at, really getting a celebrity's attention. You might get thank you very much for the compliment, or hope you have a great day too. But it's going to be rare that you actually get a young lady's attention that you can actually get with. However, in this book, I do give some really good tips on maximizing those odds. I personally have met a couple of celebrities off the internet. I don't expose anybody. But, those who know me well know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
And I think the bottom line is that with celebrities, you just want to remain realistic. You don't want to, put all your eggs in one basket, because obviously if she's a beautiful celeb and if she's getting a lot of attention elsewhere, then, you're going to want to have to, you're going to have to kind of resign yourself to the fact that as good and as crispy, so to speak, as your game is online, she's meeting bachelors every day, every hour, every minute, probably right as you're typing that message.
Okay. So then let's go into the poke category. These are the ones you want to contact, and you said women who keep to themselves.
Yes.
So what does that look like, a woman who keeps to herself?
Well, it's a great thing. It helps when your business is not in the streets. I know a lot of guys, especially guys who are, really goal-oriented and, really motivated in their careers, as they climb up the social ladder, they don't really want all their business out there in the streets, They may just want someone who's able to just be cool about a lot of things. You'd be surprised. A lot of guys, when you're looking, especially for a relationship, or even for a freak partner, let's just be honest, no one really wants all their info out there, No one, it's just kind of nice just to know that, you're dealing with a woman who doesn't kiss and tell. So that's a good thing.
Right. So how can you tell from someone's page if that's a woman who keeps to herself?
If she is dressed conservatively, if her page is kind of low-key, if she's not using like a whole lot of loud colors. Well, actually, this is for Facebook. So even with her words, if her words are low-key, if she, as opposed to you, doesn't have like a whole lot of nicknames, if she just has a regular government name, perhaps, she's a teacher, she kind of keeps things brief. That's probably the main thing. If, she has a bit of intrigue and aura about her page as well. Her pictures and her friends should also be in line with that. If her friends also seem low-key, then chances are you're dealing with a low-key young woman.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to go on to something that you and I disagree with.
Uh-oh, here we go.
We're going to have a face-off, young man.
Okay.
Okay. So, well, you know what? I'll let you explain your point of view. I understand your point of view, but then I'll explain my point of view. And that is regarding okay, you say if you request that she calls you and she replies asking you to call her, it may be excusable if she offers a reason. This is normally a defense mechanism women use to maintain control over the interaction. Would you like to respond?
Oh, sure. And overall, guys, listen to me. I'm talking through your speakers. Guys, if you offer, and I don't care if you offer to exchange, I don't care if you just ask for her number, or I don't care if you offer your number. If you make a phone number request of any sort, and if she replies with anything, any kind of counteroffer, without a reasonable explanation, fellas, it's a test. So what I always tell guys, no matter what the case is, you really want to be discerning, and you really want to be adamant. And even if you do kind of accept her counteroffer, and you call her, or you call her at a different time or whatever, you really want to, kind of address it and be like, hey, what was that about? Because what a lot of guys do, they fail those very beginning tests, and there goes the whole relationship or the whole interaction. She'll, mistake you as kind of a weak man. And I always advocate for manhood. A lot of guys lose that these days. So overall, yeah, I stand by that 100%. I approve this message. Blindness approves this message, guys. If you offer her number, if you make a phone number request, if she has a counter offer, address it. If not, deny it.
Okay, I totally agree. It is absolutely a test. But it's not a test in order to gain control. It's a test to see. We want to know, okay, a man likes to chase and initiate, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to know, are you a man or not? So that's the reason we say, no, I would prefer that you call me. So we want you to step up to the plate and be a man. And so if you want us to call you, the women, that means you want us to do your job. Therefore, I see you as not wanting to step up to the plate and be a man. So it's like if I tell you to call me, will you do it? And if you're going to give me lip about it, then I might think twice about wanting to see you.
Well, at the same time,
yes.
Miss Lucia.
Yes, Mr. Flyness.
The thing is that, a lot of women, and you know this, I know you know this, to be honest with me, a lot of women, they give out their numbers, and it doesn't matter how much interest or lack of interest the female may have in a guy, she may give him her number anyway. So there's no real calling a female can be a waste of time. Many times it is. A woman doesn't have to have any interest in a guy to give him her number. But if she calls a guy, it has to mean that she has interest, because why would she waste her time?
Right, but if you call,
ego's blown up.
If you call and she doesn't call you back, that also gives you the same message that she's not interested.
If you call her and she does not call back?
Yes. Then you have your answer as to whether she's interested or not.
But but then again, a lot of guys see. Now this is I could take the blame on behalf of all men everywhere. That a lot of guys will call a woman. He'll say, "Hey, Susie, you look really nice. I'd love to get to know you. What's your number?" And Susie may not give a darn about Fred.
Yeah.
But Susie may give Fred her phone number. Fred will call. Susie won't answer, and Fred will call 500 times.
Well, Fred's retarded.
Yeah, but and I take the rap for guys. A lot of guys do that because we rationalize and say, well, if she wasn't interested, then why would she give me her number? So that's what I tell guys. Guys, look, if you want to know for certain if a woman is interested, at least offer to exchange numbers. If not, just have her call you. And on Facebook, advocate if you know that she's online, or if she's not online now, if she's online relatively frequently, have her call you right then and there. Be like, look, what are you doing right now? She says nothing much. Say, call me right now. That way, you'll know immediately whether or not this woman is really interested in you, or if you're just a pastime while she's online and checking her messages.
What if she's busy?
Well, look, the bottom line is this. If she's interested enough, she'll drop or modify her schedule. Look, unless she's Oprah Winfrey or you know what I mean, or whoever, unless she's a celebrity. Look, even then, even Barack Obama has time for a press conference. If she's interested, she'll make time. Period.
and if he's a man, he'll pick up the phone and call her. So let's move on to the next topic. I don't want to stay on this. Okay, so you say there's some ways to not start off a Facebook interaction. So give a few tips on that. Okay,
well, the first one was what we first talked about, which is the poke. You don't want to start off with a poke. That's a bad way to start off. Mm-hmm. That's way number one. Another way not to start off an interaction is with a friend request. Not good. You're not direct enough. Another way not to start off an interaction, the third and final way that a lot of guys kind of fall into, is with a brown-nosing message. Like, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so great. Oh, I love your page. That is a big mistake. So those are like the three main ways not to start off. That will land you in the doghouse quickly. Yeah, and you actually give 5 ways, and so if people are interested in the other 2 ways, they can, of course, get the book at Facebook. Well, there you go. Facebook.com. Now, I love this part. You said that I found nothing that gets a woman's attention like another woman. Mm-hmm. So you say this is a way to provoke a war. So give me your war theory here. Yeah, well, I actually have a chapter in the book. I believe it's called War Tactics, if I'm not mistaken. And with Facebook, I actually learned this tip a while ago, but I learned it by accident. I was actually, kicking it, so to speak, or dating or, hanging out with a young woman at the time. And at the same time, another woman took interest in me, probably because of the first woman. I wouldn't doubt it. And what would happen was the woman I was dating would leave me messages on my wall, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great day. And meanwhile, the second woman would message, she would see that, and she'd write a message, I hope you're having a great, great day. And then the first woman would say, well, I hope you're having a better day. What did you do? And then the other woman would say, it would be like a back and forth thing. And it would be so interesting because I would just sit back and say, wow, I feel like a king right now. And I even got messages in my inbox, from my male friends saying, who are those 2 girls fighting for you? It's so interesting how, one could, not only be, witness something like that, but also provoke it. So I talk about ways to kind of get women to fight over you, because when you have that on your board, it really ups your status. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I know. I totally agree. So is that what you call the Tigger approach? No, the Tigger approach is a little bit different. Tigger is a nickname for one of my best friends. The cartoon character? He's your best friend? You know what? I don't even know how he got that nickname, to be honest with you. But yeah, we've always called him Tigger. Actually met him through a mutual friend, and him and I have been cool for a few years. But he does this all the time. I don't even know if he realizes he does it, but what he does is he'll be anywhere, and of course he carries a smartphone. I think he has an iPhone, and so he'll log into Facebook, through Facebook Mobile, and whatever he's doing, he'll just leave very simple but catchy or attention-getting status messages. That's what the Tigger approach is. So he'll say something like, I'm so hungry. Wish someone could, cook me something. And, he has a couple of females that he's already, who are already interested in him. So, of course, they're the first ones to say, oh, I'll make you some ribs. Do you like ribs, baby? And then another female will see it, and she'll reply. And it'll just be this long list of replies. So sometimes the simplest thing can really go a long way. He'll leave messages like I'm hungry, or he'll say his name, so he'll say something like Tigger needs a hug, or Tigger needs his head rubbed. And the girls will listen and say, oh, I'll rub your head, I'll rub your back. So that's kind of stuff works. So that's the Tigger approach. Wow.
Very cool.
Mhm.
I agree. So then you also mentioned about taking your camera everywhere. Now, when I really started getting into iPhone a few months ago, I have luckily an iPhone, and of course I have the Facebook application. And, I was getting carried away with it because everywhere I'd go, I'd be like, okay, because I was at a wedding. And so before the wedding, I got a bunch of pictures taken of myself with my phone. And then it's like, okay, I got to go upload these on Facebook before I can go to the wedding. So it's,
Yeah, just taking your camera, because you never know who you're going to see. You never know who you'll run into. Say, if you have first of all, if you have a phone with a camera built in, you're fine. There's really no excuse not to have some sort of camera with you, even if you have a disposable camera. Just spend $4.99 at your local Walgreens or CVS and get a camera, get something. So when you go out, especially guys, if you see an attractive woman somewhere, get to know her, snap a picture, and then that's something that you'll have forever. And that's the gift that keeps on giving. You post that picture up with you and that beautiful Lucia looking of a woman, and show it off.
It's
Lucia, when you and I meet, we're
Yes.
going to, stand together. I'm going to take a picture, and it's going to be everywhere. And you're going to be helping my game more than you can imagine.
Oh, boy. In that case, I'm not posing with you. Just kidding. Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned that because at this wedding, actually at the reception afterwards, I was with my girlfriend, and she was trying to make someone on her Facebook friends jealous. So we're like looking for someone of her to take a picture with. And we nabbed like who we thought was the waiter, and then he's posing. And all of a sudden I see a ring on his finger. I'm like, is that a ring? He goes, yeah, I'm married. And we're like, married? And we're like, we thought you were the waiter. He's like, no, I'm the co-owner of the restaurant.
Wow.
So we're like, okay, we're going to have to Photoshop that ring off that finger.
There you go. See? So, and that's a lesson. All you guys listening, women are up on the game. See, she was already doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, you need to catch up. When you're out, have your camera ready. You see a cute girl. You could be on vacation, especially on vacation. You're not going to see her again anyway. So you might as well, just take some pictures, and that could be with you forever.
Yes. Okay, so then finally I want to ask you about the Honesty Box app because I had never heard of it. What is that?
Okay. Well, Honesty Box is a great thing. It's actually how I met my ex-girlfriend.
Aww.
Yeah, so basically all it is it's an application that you can download. You can actually put it in on Google. You can put in Facebook Honesty Box into a Google search, or you can just go right onto Facebook and you enter it in the little search field, put in Honesty Box. After you download it, you're able to message anybody else who has Honesty Box. It's very widely used. You can message anybody else who's currently on Honesty Box, and you can just send them an anonymous message. And the recipient of that message gets the message, and all they know about the person who sent it is their gender. That's it.
Wow.
So it enables you to, keep an anonymous, aura about yourself, once again contributing to the whole mystery side of yourself. So it gives you a lot of advantages.
So this is kind of like when you're in junior high and you leave a note in someone's locker saying, I like you.
Yeah, it's even better than that because, you don't have to, you can say much more explicit things. And that's the one time that I actually advocate and say it's okay to be explicit in an Honesty Box message because it adds to that intrigue, and it's much more of a, bad boy kind of thing. So for guys who are looking to, bring out the bad boy in themselves a little bit more, I definitely advocate the Honesty Box. It always works.
All right. Well, thank you so much for, again, being a great guest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, the book, the Facebook Datebook for Men, and the website. Finest, you want to give the website?
Yeah, the website is www.facebookdatebook.com. I have some free excerpts. There's a whole lot more that we didn't even get to, so this is a great book, guys. Update your game, upgrade your game. Go to facebookdatebook.com.
All right. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and we've come yet to the end of another show. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to sign up for my weekly newsletter, where I always have something going on, you can go to theartoflove.net and sign up there. You can also go to lessonsoflove.net and read an excerpt from my book, which is Lucia's Lessons of Love, where I answer the most asked dating questions. And that is it. So I will see you next week. And in the meantime, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.
You're listening to The Art of Love with your host, Lucia, right here on LA Talk Radio.